Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever have a moment where your whole life shifts in an instant? That's what happened to me the night of my daughter's daddy-daughter dance. I told myself I'd moved on, that Carter was my future, and that Liam. Well, Liam was just part of my past. But standing there, watching Beth twirl in her little pink dress, her hand in Liam's, I realized I'd been lying to myself. My heart knew the truth before my mind did. And when I crashed that dance, everything, my love, my family, my future, came rushing back into focus. What happened next changed everything. Hope crashes Beth's daddy-daughter dance after Liam love Epiphany. I don't really know where to begin, but maybe the best place is with the truth. The truth I've been trying to avoid for months now. My name is Hope Logan, and for most of my life, love has been both my greatest blessing and my deepest curse. When you grow up in the Logan family, you learn early that your heart will always be tested. I've seen it in my mother's life, over and over again. Brooke has always followed her heart, no matter how messy or painful the path became. She's been judged, she's been scorned, but she's also loved in ways most people never get to experience. And here I am, her daughter, standing at the same kind of crossroads she's faced 100 times before. I told myself I had moved on from Liam. I told myself that being with Carter Walton, strong, stable, reliable Carter, was the best decision for me and for my daughter, Beth. Carter offered security. He offered peace. After all the storms with Liam, all the heartbreak and betrayals, it felt almost like relief to stand in Carter's calm presence. But the problem with convincing yourself you're happy is that eventually, your heart calls your bluff. It started small, tiny cracks in the wall I had built around my heart. I would see Liam laugh with Beth, that soft laugh he only has when he's with her, and I would feel something tug inside me. Something familiar. Something I thought I had buried. And then came the dance. Beth had been talking about her daddy-daughter dance for weeks. She'd twirl around the living room in her socks, practicing spins and curtsies, her little giggles filling every corner of the house. "Mommy, do you think Daddy will be nervous?" she asked one night, her eyes shining with that innocent excitement only a child can carry. I smiled and told her, "No, sweetheart. Daddy's going to be perfect. You'll both be perfect." But deep down, the thought of seeing Liam with her that night made my chest ache. The day of the practice run, Beth put on her new dress, a pale pink with layers of soft tulle that floated when she moved. She looked like a fairy, like something magical, untouched by the messiness of the adult world. Liam showed up with flowers, because of course he did. He may not always be the perfect partner, but when it comes to Beth, he never falls short. I watched from the doorway as he knelt down to pin a tiny corsage on her wrist. His hands shook just a little, and he whispered something that made her giggle so hard she snorted. Then he took her hand and led her into the living room, where music was already playing. The sight of them together, it did something to me. I don't know if words can even capture it. My heart swelled and broke all at once. I was proud of the life we had created, proud of the father he was, but I was also drowning in the reminder of what I had lost. Beth caught me standing there and waved. "Mommy, take a picture," she squealed. Liam looked up at me, his smile soft, his eyes catching mine in a way that froze me in place. I grabbed my phone, snapped the photo, and for a moment, the three of us were exactly what we used to be, a family. That night, when Liam texted me the picture of Beth hugging him in her dress, I stared at it until my eyes blurred. My heart screamed one thing, my mind another. Carter was supposed to be my future. But Liam had always been my forever. The night after Beth's practice dance, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, staring at the ceiling while Carter slept peacefully beside me. His steady breathing should have comforted me, but instead it felt like a reminder of everything I was hiding. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was Liam twirling Beth around in our living room, his eyes sparkling with that kind of love that doesn't just fade away. I thought about texting my mom, Brooke. She's the one person who always seems to know what I'm feeling before I can admit it to myself. But it was nearly midnight, and I didn't want to wake her. So I lay there, my phone on the nightstand, my chest heavy with the weight of the choices in front of me. When morning came, I finally broke down. I dropped Beth off at school and drove straight to my mom's house without even calling first. The second she opened the door, she knew. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" she asked softly, pulling me into her arms. And just like that, I unraveled. The tears came before I could stop them. I sank onto her couch, burying my face in my hands, and told her everything. How Carter was everything I thought I wanted, how he gave me peace and stability, but how every time I looked at Liam, I felt that fire I couldn't ignore. Mom didn't look shocked. She never does. She just nodded, like she had been expecting this. "Hope, I know how much Carter means to you," she said gently, sitting down beside me. "He's a good man. But a good man isn't always your man. And you already know who holds your heart. You've known it for years." Her words stung, not because they weren't true, but because they were. I wanted to argue, to insist that I could make it work with Carter, that I could build a stable, happy life with him. But when I pictured my future, it wasn't Carter standing beside me. It was Liam. It had always been Liam. "But what about Carter?" I whispered. "He doesn't deserve this. He deserves someone who's all in, and I can't seem to give him that. What if I break him?" Mom reached over and took my hand. "Sweetheart, you can't sacrifice your own happiness to protect someone else's feelings. It never works. Trust me, I've been there. I stayed with Ridge when my heart was somewhere else, and in the end, it hurt everyone more. You owe it to yourself, and to Carter, to be honest. And you owe it to Liam and Beth too." Her words echoed in my head all day. By the time evening came, I knew what I had to do. The night of the actual daddy-daughter dance arrived, and I felt sick to my stomach. I told myself I wasn't going to go. It wasn't my place. This was Liam and Beth's night, and I wasn't about to turn it into a spectacle. But the closer it got to the time, the more restless I became. I tried to distract myself, folded laundry, cleaned the kitchen, even sat down to sketch designs for hope for the future, but my mind wouldn't settle. Every thought, every beat of my heart, pulled me closer to that gymnasium where the dance was being held. And then, like something out of a dream, Liam texted me a photo. Beth in her dress, her little arms wrapped around his neck, both of them smiling like the world couldn't touch them. That was it. That was the moment I knew I couldn't stay away. I grabbed my keys and drove, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. The school parking lot was already packed, and I had to park 2 blocks away. I walked fast, almost running, my heels clicking against the pavement, my chest tight with nerves. As I got closer, I could hear the music drifting out of the gymnasium. Soft, upbeat songs that made my heart swell with nostalgia. I paused at the door, suddenly terrified. What if this was a mistake? What if showing up here only made things worse? But then I saw them through the glass window, Liam and Beth, dancing under the twinkling lights strung across the ceiling. She looked up at him like he hung the stars, and he looked back at her with pure devotion. My breath caught in my throat, and before I could stop myself, I pushed the door open. The room was filled with laughter and music, but in that moment, it felt like time slowed. A few people glanced at me curiously, but I barely noticed. My eyes were locked on Liam and Beth. Beth spotted me first. Her face lit up, and she ran across the room, her dress bouncing as she moved. "Mommy," she squealed, throwing her arms around my waist. I knelt down, hugging her tightly, inhaling the sweet scent of her shampoo. "You look so beautiful, sweetheart," I whispered. When I looked up, Liam was standing a few feet away, his expression caught somewhere between surprise and something deeper, something that mirrored the storm inside me. "Hope," he said softly, almost like he didn't believe I was really there. I stood, my heart pounding, my hands trembling at my sides. "I couldn't stay away," I admitted. "I thought I could, but I had to be here. I had to see this. He studied me for a long moment, and in his eyes, I saw it. The love, the longing, the recognition. The epiphany that had been building inside both of us finally came to light. And in that crowded gymnasium, surrounded by parents and children and music, I realized the truth I had been fighting all along. Liam wasn't just my past. He was my person. He was my home.